What up, 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 what up. Ryan are celebrating 6 months of marriage tonight, and I'll be back at some point. All right, congrats. Half a year in the books. I got caught out in the rain earlier while biking, and the kickstand on my bike is like in this weird sort of like loose state where it was like almost getting in the way of my gears and shit. So I just like, while it was like torrential downpouring, I went over underneath like a random house's porch and just took the kickstand off and just left that as a souvenir on their porch. So, congratulations to them. They get to have my kickstand. Hopefully they return it home to me at some point. And D-Shore, thank you for the first dono of the night. 15 buckaroons. Has had the best night ever. Thank you, D-Shore. You have an amazing evening. Appreciate you. You love biking? Yeah, biking's fun. It's weird though. I just feel like I can't, with biking, like I can't quite build up the same like sweat and heat as I can with running. Like jogging is like the only, I feel like, I don't even know, like the most metabolic my body will be. Did I autograph it? Yeah, I spit on it. I said, this is for you, sweetheart. So stoked to finally catch a live reading, listening while I put an all-nighter designing content for a client. Thanks for helping me pass time. Yeah, no worries. What kind of content are you designing? I always like to hear about creative endeavors. Anthony Esposito with the 5 says tacos. Tacos sound pretty freaking good. Sissy bar. Yeah, it was my training wheels. I took them off. I said, what better time to take those off than at 32 in the middle of a T-storm. Did I have a nice day today? Yeah, it was okay. Really just didn't do a whole lot, to be honest with you. My sleep schedule is just, I don't know if it will ever be normal, to be honest with you. I just feel like the day goes by so quick. And I've just become like less and less interested in like going to lift weights at the gym or do all the CrossFit bullshit. So I just kind of do some cardio, and not even like really that intensive cardio. Just something to fucking keep the old joints moving. It'll be listed on eBay next week. Split included. What are you talking about? Oh, the fucking, yeah. Who knows? I was kind of half worried as I stood under their porch if they would come out and yell at me, but they did not. Nobody was there. Would you rather have enough strength to explore the entire ocean, including the absolute depths, or have a time machine, but you can only go to times before the 18th century? I don't know. Have enough strength to explore the entire ocean. I feel like even if I could, like, even if someone told me right now, like, you can breathe underwater and you can just keep going, I don't even know if I like mentally could overcome the fact that I'm fucking terrified swimming through like the dark depths of the goddamn ocean. All of that just sounds fucking terrible and terrifying. I don't even know about a time machine though. I mean, I barely travel as like right now. I don't want to fucking go anywhere else in time. Maybe I would. Maybe I'll go to when they invented the question mark. After listening to you for as long as I have, I definitely agree that your sleep schedule just won't ever be the typical normal. But hey, for you, it's normal, and that's what matters. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just bored. I think I'm just bored out of my fucking mind, and I just want new. I want new something, new fucking anything. I just don't even know what that would be. Have you ever been getting enough B vitamins? I've noticed that I get sluggish if I don't get enough of those vitamin D and supplement as needed for diet. You know, I assume I have. I do take some multivites and stuff. It's not that. It's just like the repetitious nature of like some of the workouts I do. Like, you know, you do bodybuilding for a while. You do like powerlifting. You do CrossFit bullshit. You've been in that space, you know, you've been in that environment how many goddamn times, and I get it, it's like a trust the process type thing, but eventually it's just like, holy fuck, what am I even doing this for? This is so goddamn repetitive and boring. I'm disappointed I cut into a watermelon. It looks gross, so I had to throw it in the trash. Oh, damn. Rotting from the inside. You need new too, painfully relatable. Yeah, we should brainstorm some ideas on what does new even look like? Like, what is, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder to myself, like, am I afraid? Am I afraid to just go do shit? Or just so fucking complacent? I don't know. I'm definitely open to it. Sometimes I feel like I need people to, like, grab me and pull my arm somewhere. Listen to my podcast on Spotify. Thanks, Myers. Appreciate you. What's up, Chad and Tanner? The Tandem YouTube account. Boxing. Boxing would be interesting. You love ballet, never too late to try it. I remember some like NFL people would do ballet just for their balance and stuff. You're gonna play Stray. I actually downloaded Stray last night and I played it for like, I guess a total of like 20 minutes. And I got kind of bored. Because I'm just like, okay, I get it. I'm a cat. That's neat. Press B to meow. And then it was just like, there was all these designated areas for you to press A to jump up on stuff. And then I got to this one area where you were like, it was like sort of a puzzle where you like just moved certain, I don't know, pieces of technology onto other technology and like to open up a door. And then I did that. And I'm just like, holy fuck, this is so boring. What the hell are we even doing? I'm not even sure anymore. Sometimes I wonder if I even like video games. Sorry, I feel like everything I've said so far has been negative. Anyways, guys, what's going on? Everything's perfect and nothing's bad. And, oh, I can't fucking move. Currently in the process of moving, so I'm exhausted and ready for some stories. Good. Get comfortable. Best workouts I've ever had were at kickboxing, also in my best shape, and when I went regularly. Yeah, I know, you really gotta, whatever you're doing, you gotta grind into it. Any paranormal Ouija boards episodes anytime soon? I don't think so. Nothing planned. David De La Rosa with the 2 says, hey Joe, how you doing, my bro? Doing good. David, how are you? Join a men's sports league like basketball. Yeah, I wonder if they have that around here. Having an existential crisis. For real though, I don't know. I just like, sometimes I wish I was like, I don't even know. Wish I was a billionaire who also had like a secretary and like one of those random assistants named Jeeves who were like, sir, your 9 a.m. trip to Barbados, you're going to be late. I don't even know. Just like constantly using your funds to do new ideas just to like see what the fuck happens. You want someone to do stuff with and visit each other's house, and for someone to check and see if you go home safe. Yeah, I mean, that'd be... Feels good to be going home and going safe. Can I be your bodyguard? Sure, David. Yeah, no worries. We'll do... What was that one? Robin Big. It'll be a Robin Big situation. Would you do time slip stories ever? Yeah, no one... I don't know. Is anybody ever having any slips in time recently? Have you seen Mr. Deeds? I have seen Mr. Deeds, but it's been so long. Did he become rich in that, or like, I forget what happened. Going to kick back and relax and listen to the live and thunderstorm we are getting right now perfectly. Yeah, I had one sneak up on me. What inspired me to start my channel? I just wanted to do something creative and you know, maybe make YouTube my job so that I didn't have to go to my other job. And it worked. It actually happened. I don't know. Didn't expect it, but it did. These are some good beats. This is Lo-Fi for Ghosts only on the Homework Radio YouTube channel. This song is called... What is it? This is called No GF... What is it? No GF Goodnight. I love her so much. 2018 cut. Interesting. Interesting. He inherited tons of money and a mansion and a butler and a Kool-Aid water fountain. Pretty ideal. Yeah. See, that's what I need in my life. Just a Kool-Aid water fountain. I'm sure there won't be a single bug attracted to that. I'm sure it certainly won't get sticky. Do I like MMOs? You know, not really. I tried to play some MMOs. They got kind of boring. Do you listen to your own podcast sometimes? You know, I don't, actually. I'll listen to it just to make sure it sounds okay. And then that's it. No, you know, I've always been curious, honestly. If I ever go on one of my little walk, run, bikes, maybe I should just throw on the old podcast to, you know, for... quality assurance purposes. I mean, do you ever feel like you have done too much and don't know what to do? A little bit, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of get so used to, like, doing the whole, like, up mobility type thing. And I'm certainly not at, like, some sort of peak moment or anything like that, but I just don't even know how to, like, really expend my time and resources anymore. Ideally, I would like to just be part of like some larger recording process within the realm of like voice acting, just to see it to like fruition, just to see the project come out, see people's reception of that. But I guess there's a few other steps between that, you know what I mean? And I've been obviously a little lazy in that regard. Best Star Wars movie? I guess Empire Strikes Back. I think we talked about that before. Harold the Fish. What the frick? What about Harold the Fish? Freddy the Fish? The video game? Oh, do I have a nostril? Oh, there's Harold the Fish. Do I have a nostril? I think I have two of them, actually. How's the king of the castle, Pradeep? He is nowhere in sight currently, so he's... Oh, wait. Yeah, I forgot I opened up my little... this little storage area, because he always meows to go inside of it, so... Maybe he's in there hunting or something, or chilling. Hit that like button. Yes, please do that. It makes the biggest of differences. Agree, I'm here in Africa and switching time sucks. Oh, you switch your sleep schedule, or did you just get to Africa, or what's going on there? Opinions on Beavis and Butthead. Do you remember me? It's been a long time. While the stream, I'm happy that I'm here. Also, I'm outside your window. Okay. Hello. Should I let you in? That's where the burnt smell of toast is coming from. Oh, yeah, it's probably just a toast ghost. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead was pretty good. I really didn't watch it growing up that much. I just catch it here and there. I remember it was interesting, I guess, at the time, like, but I don't remember, like, as a kid, like, watching it and just, like, laughing my ass off because, I don't know, there's, like, some weird integration between that and music videos and stuff. Like, they would watch music videos or something. Submit your resume to Lucas Arts. Yeah, I don't really have much of a resume. I'm at, like, a mental block on how to, like, progress the whole fucking voice acting thing, because I'm fairly certain you need to get, like, an agent, but then I'm also fairly certain that you need to do projects. So maybe I just need to pick one of those, like, small projects I see pop up on Twitter and just throw myself out there till it makes sense or something. Joel is Bootius, Tyrannius, Maximus, a good gladiator name. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Beefy Boss, I don't know, man. I have no idea. If it's been a while, I have no idea what that other account is, or if you said something to get banned on the other one. I don't know, man. Success of the channel is all you need on a resume. I don't know. I don't really think anybody in the voice acting realm, and I'm being serious, like, I don't think there's a single person in the voice acting realm that will look at, like, a YouTube channel and I mean, they might be like, oh, shoot, nice, you know what I mean? But as far as, like, what they tend to look for as far as, like, workflow and, voice acting talent, I'm not really sure a YouTube channel would even really prove anything to them. You don't remember doing anything bad, bro? I have no idea. I have no fucking clue what the context of your other account is or what the name of it is, and I don't really care either, and I'm sorry. First time on live, welcome, Jasmine. Good to see you. I have brought my ears with me. Hello. You got your headphones. Take up naked baking because why not? That's true. Just wander around my house nude. I guess no one can really stop me. It's kind of their fault for looking, really, and they should go to jail. You're in a very special and specific position that you can use to your advantage. Yeah, I guess it's just more like the creativity, or like it's like a game plan. I feel like I need like a fucking like a life coach or something, or someone that like has experience within that realm. Because anybody I've spoken to, like, in the voice acting area, it just seems like you kind of, like, either get the runaround with what they suggest to do, or they try to sell you something else, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I mean, I'm obviously thankful for what you guys and what I got going on here and the podcast and all that good stuff. Joe, do any of these stories ever make you think thrice before doing something? Oh, yeah. They make me wash my hands if I ever get a boo-boo. And also, if anybody ever stares at me and smiles a little too long, I immediately type the story up and send it into Let's Read. I'm a cleaner for Airbnbs, and I love listening to your videos and podcasts while I clean. It gets creepy sometimes cleaning a house by yourself, hearing random noises, everything. Yeah, and I'm sure the random background stuff in the story probably gets the imagination going. All right, let's switch to our reading screen. Once again, that was Lo-Fi for Ghosts Only on the Homework Radio YouTube channel. What's an existential crisis? You never heard of that before? It's essentially when you get so fucking bored, you think about all the bad shit. But I don't know. Hanging out and talking to you guys gives me something. I just realized, I'm like, nobody's gonna come and like nobody's gonna come and make your life better except you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes I sort of like take a victim style. I don't know, like when I bitch about stuff, like I take like a style of thinking that like woe unto me, and it's just, that's such a stupid way to think, honestly, because it's not, you're not going to accomplish anything or make anything happen by thinking that way. You just basically got to keep moving and trying new shit, and hopefully something keeps your interest for a period of time. Samantha with the 10s has been listening to Scary Stories Online for a long time. You've inspired me to want to do something similar, but to be honest, I just don't think I have the right voice for it or the confidence. A real bummer. Well, you know, that's okay to think that way initially, but I guess to overcome that, I would suggest maybe think not so much about whether or not your voice is the best or whether or not you have the confidence, because obviously confidence is something that comes with time, because I didn't have a lot of confidence out the gate, though I think maybe a little bit of my experience like growing up, like being creatively inclined, sort of just added to that sort of like not necessarily narcissistic perspective, but just that perspective that like people are going to want to listen to me. Why wouldn't they want to listen to me? You know, kind of thing. But at the end of the day, to make it easier on someone who's starting out new, I think on YouTube, is to just think of content that you would be interested in making, even if only a few people, like your closest friends, got to watch it at like a barbecue on a big projector outside on a screen, and they're only like half paying attention. But think about it as like what like what would keep your interest even if you didn't get, you know what I mean, you know, even if it didn't pop off, like what would be fun to just like research on your own or make or read or do, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be exactly like my channel to emulate it, though I appreciate that, because I do notice that people that do like video essays and those kinds of personality driven informational content tend to have a lot more success than like a new narrator does. Do I get any bitches? I mean, if you don't mind, could you tell your mom to just like stop texting me for like 15 seconds? JK. If you need something to do, there's always Warhammer. Yeah, there's a lot of Warhammer games. Do you get bombarded with advice? Or are you down for people's 2 cents? No, I'm definitely down with people's 2 cents all the time. I appreciate it. I feel like I hear a lot of stuff that if it doesn't have like a very clear direction-oriented approach, like I feel like I'm pretty good at deciphering like what pieces of advice actually make any sense, you know what I mean? It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Sin. Beard scratchies. Well, my beard just has to get real itchy. You missed the collab with me and Dark Echoes. Yeah, Dark Echoes was an awesome idea for a YouTube channel. As far as like basically these types of stories narrated, but then like, you know, acted out by, you know, student actors and all that kind of stuff. I thought they did a fantastic job with what they did, but I think I had talked to the guy who ran the channel. I forget his name, but like, you know, he was an acting professor at a place in California, and then whenever you know, California was one of the more stricter areas during COVID just to do fucking anything, you know what I mean? So it was like trying to coordinate the students to gather together to film something. It was just so much like, I think, logistical red tape for them that to maintain any sort of like conventional workflow was next to impossible over the past 2 years. So obviously, I do hope that he and they had moved on to like doing other projects that benefited them, but I think that was something that unfortunately was just not able to maintain. Pavlos Glover, welcome back for half a year in the Buttersock Cult. You still have access to bonus content. Thank you, Pavlos. What up, gangsta? Jackie Chan. Also, I got this like throat spray. It's called Be Immune throat spray. Propolis. I don't even know. Oh, there's Pradeep. Pradeep just came out of the closet there, or the storage space area. It does not appear that he has any meese or mice with him. But the nice shit part about this stuff is that it's like made with like, well, you know what? I can read the ingredients because, so yeah, bee propolis extract. I guess that's, and then the other ingredients include vegetable glycerin and purified water. So I guess it's just like beehive bullshit. And I don't know. Hopefully, it'll keep my throat nice and lubricated and not. Joel, did you get to play the new cat game Stray? You know, I played it for like I said, for like 20 minutes and I got bored. But if you guys play it and really enjoy it, please let me know your honest opinion, because I do want to keep trying it. But I'm just like, is this all it is? Just like kind of like a really, because it's like a platform game, but there's no like real skill to the platform aspect other than the fact that like you just have to figure out where to go. And then it kind of holds your hand in that regard too, which is I'm fine with, because sometimes you get kind of bored and want to just keep making forward progress. But I think it's more of, to me, to be honest with you, I think it's more of an artistic sort of project where it's like more of a walking simulator, but like cat simulators type thing. Hey, Lupo with the 5, thank you. Alright, let's kick these stories off. We got Airbnb stories here. Once again, thanks for being here, guys. Click that like button. Click the nuclear launch codes. Whatever you want to do, it's no problem. And we'll keep rolling here. Back in 2018, I ended up flying over to Greece for a week-long solo vacation. There were a few hotels that I had my eye on while I was planning the trip, but then for the same price, I could get an entire apartment on Airbnb, and some of the stuff they had available. I'm gonna start that whole fucking thing over. I don't know why it just sounded awkward. I'm addicted to Best Fiends Law. It's a death oh, nice. There you go. I'm glad. I've got to keep people interested in it so they keep sponsoring the podcast. First time commenting on one of your lives, and I gotta say I love your voice, but I love your laughing. Oh, thank you, Jaded Jester. I appreciate that. Back in 2018, I ended up flying over to Greece for a week-long solo vacation. There were a few hotels I had my eye on while I was planning the trip, but then for the same price, I could get an entire apartment on Airbnb, and some of the stuff they had available for rent was absolutely amazing. For the price of an entire ensuite hotel room, I could get an apartment that looked something like a legitimate millionaire might choose to stay in during a visit to a French Riviera or something. Greece doesn't exactly have the strongest economy, so it kind of made sense that it would be going so... Greece doesn't exactly have the strongest economy, so it kind of made sense that it would be going so cheap, but even so, compared to the other listings, there's no way to describe it other than suspiciously affordable. Like any other sane person would have done, I immediately went to check the reviews, and even with all the 5-star reviews and glowing praise of the apartment's owner, I still thought the whole thing was just way too good to be true. But then again, there were only 2 windows where the place wasn't booked, so not only did that show that the other people were genuinely interested in the place, but it also meant that it was a case of poop or get off the pot, so to speak. I could book the place, check it out, then if it turned out to be some well-distinguished nightmare, I could just find myself a hotel chain with a simpler but more reliable kind of room, then just use the place to rest my head after long days of exploring my ancestral home. The flight over to Greece was the first long flight I'd been on, and the whole process just completely exhausted me. It's weird that just sitting on a plane for almost 10 hours can do that to a person, but I guess it was mainly the stress that took it out of me. Worrying that I'd lost my passport or my e-ticket, constantly worrying that I'd left something crucial back in my apartment, all irrational first-time flyer stuff, I know, but after the relief of landing without a hitch and making it to the Airbnb okay, I felt like I could sleep for days. Even the elation of seeing the apartments didn't keep me up for long, and my God, the apartments. Do I watch anime? Not regularly anymore, to be honest. I'll catch some stuff here and there, but I don't really watch much of anything. Like, I was watching The Boys with my friends yesterday. We watched probably like 4 episodes of it, and it's definitely cool. But the first season's been out for a while, so I feel like this isn't too much of a spoiler. But it's not even really that much of a spoiler in general. So there's like the main character guy who's like a normal person without any superhero abilities, and then there's one of the main character girls who is getting into their 7 or their like, because basically it's like the Avengers, but if the Avengers was controlled by Lockheed Martin or some shit like that, you know what I mean? But also like, I'm not even sure. It's basically just like superheroes, but it's very heavily commercialized and like oriented around profit and like kind of a fake reality, I suppose. Very, corporatized. And so the main girl character is, in New York City or some shit or whatever city, and she's in a park sitting on a bench, and she just had to do something really ethically messed up to maintain her job within, her dream job as being part of the 7 or like the superhero guild or whatever the fuck. And she's about to have this conversation with her mom, right? Pretty normal thing. She wants to get off her chest, but her mom's very like focused on her being successful and living vicariously through her. So oftentimes she ignores like her daughter's feelings, you know what I mean? Like almost like those moms that like push a daughter to be really good at ballet or acting or some shit and make them feel bad if they eat too much food or whatever the fuck. Anyways, so the mom kind of ignores her and she doesn't get to like sort of express that thing. And then they fucking like, they zoom out, right? They pan out slightly, and 2 inches from her on that same public bench in the middle of this giant fucking park, conveniently, is the main character who has no superhero powers, and he's just eating a fucking sandwich, like as if though he doesn't even know why the fuck he's there. It's just almost like he's in a dream or something, and like the god who wrote him into existence just like placed him there conveniently for plot point's sake of the 2 of them crossing paths and meeting. And oh man, it just like felt so incredibly like inauthentic and made zero fucking sense. It made zero fucking sense, but then they cross paths and they sort of like interact as if though they're going to be romantic interests, which is sort of like the direction they begin to go in, I guess. I've only made it 4 episodes, but I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I get this is like a silly superhero movie or whatever the fuck, or show, but that specific plot point just made the most absolute nonsensical. It was just like holy shit, what the fuck are they even, like, how do they pretend, like, out of all the places, like, why would you, like, the stuff that she was about to talk to her mom about was like some pretty messed up stuff, and she's just gonna like openly discuss that on a park bench next to a random stranger that she just somehow like didn't notice 3 inches from her till that exact moment, and then they conveniently are both main characters. And oh my god, it was just, I'm just like, who writes this shit? Like, who the fuck actually writes this shit? Anyways, I get it. Sometimes just for the sake of plot, you know, you gotta write stuff that makes sense. It almost, to me, honestly, it felt like as if though they had to reconnect them, so that like they almost like, it almost seems like they wrote it afterwards, you know what I mean? To like make the connection, you know, and then just like pigeonholed it in there, like, listen, we don't have any other fucking way. I mean, they literally could have like bumped into each other, or like she's a fucking superhero, she could have saved him from something arbitrary, you know what I mean? Like, there's 100 different fucking ways they could have gone about it, and I don't know, it made no sense. Anyways, blah 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 blah. Even the elation of seeing the apartment didn't keep me up for long, and my god, was I elated. It was everything I could have possibly hoped for. A magnificent mosaic of black and white tiles and wrought iron spiral staircases. Hell, they could have charged double the asking price and people still would have paid it to stay in a place like that. But then the question remained, why exactly were the owners charging such a low rate? I know, it was a huge question, one that any right-minded person would have still been asking themselves, but I guess the place's beauty and my exhaustion made for this perfect cocktail to wipe my brain of thought, and I told myself that I could always properly survey the place the next morning after a good night's sleep. I remember waking up just before dawn to the sound of something scraping really close next to me. I mean, maybe scraping isn't the right word, but I ended up leaning over to the bedside table, switching on the light, and seeing what was definitely a cockroach running for the darkness below the bed. I hate bugs, and cockroaches have to be the top of the list for me. And suddenly, I understood why the pricing of the Airbnb was so low. The entire building probably had an infestation that they just couldn't get rid of, and maybe they couldn't afford to have the place bug bombed, so they were hoping for a few quick bucks from Airbnb so they could afford it. That little theory of mine made much more sense when the owners refused me any kind of refund, giving me some bullcrap excuse of how Greece has lots of bugs in the summer. Other guests didn't have a problem with it. They knew what they were doing, acting as if though a roach infestation is just like having a few houseflies, and trying to get a refund because of a whole other story, just not nearly as scary as the one I have to... Wait, what? Roaches are normal in Greece. That would suck. Have you seen Peacemaker? I don't watch TV, but I love Peacemaker. I haven't seen Peacemaker, no. I am hopefully going to be able to see Nope tomorrow. So I'm excited to do that. At least put roach motels in the motel, yeah, for real. So they both have a place to stay. We could start a new brand called the Roach AIRBNB. You're seeing it on Saturday? Nice, yeah. They knew what they were doing, acting as if though a roach infestation is just like having a few houseflies. And trying to get a refund became a whole other story, just not nearly as scary as the one I have to tell here. So, if it wasn't already clear, there was no way in hell that I was about to spend another night in a place that had roaches so close to the bed. And luckily, I hadn't actually unpacked by that point. So I was able to just grab my stuff, jump in the rental, and drive down through town towards the harbor front, where I knew that there were a bunch of hotels. Only as I'm driving, I can feel that there's something wrong with my left ear, kind of like it felt cold on the inside. Uh-oh. This guy's gonna have a fucking, like, roach baby nest in his ear hole. You're about to stay at your first AIRBNB, you're scared? Well, hopefully you don't have roaches laying eggs in your brain or anything like that, like this guy. Greetings from Unterhaching, Bavaria. Nice. Greetings, greetings. Only as I'm driving, I can feel that there's something wrong with my left ear. Kind of like it felt cold on the inside. I started thinking that maybe I had some kind of ear infection, that the exhaustion and the stress of flying had messed with my immune system. But then, I was driving, on my way to book a new hotel room, and start some epic email battle to get a refund, so it wasn't like I was in much of a position to do anything about it. But the thing was, it was still like 5 or 6 hours in the morning. Oops, 5 or 6 hours. But the thing was, it was still like 5 or 6 in the morning at that point, so it's not like any of the local clinics were open for me to get looked over. So, when the weird feeling in my ear started getting worse, I decided to pull over near the harbor front and stick a cotton swab in my ear to see if there was any blood or pus or whatever. And apologies to those who found that a little gross, but if you did, stop reading now, because things are about to get way, way worse. I pull over, fish around in my hand luggage for a little Tupperware box of bathroom-related stuff, pull out a cotton swab, then gently push one into my ear. But then when I did, I felt something actually move inside my ear. At the time, I couldn't tell if it was because I'd actually pushed a clump of earwax or something further up my ear canal. But then, when I pulled the cotton swab out again, I see these two real thin, dark brown things stuck to the tip. I remember looking at them and thinking, what the hell are those? Until suddenly, the thought hit me like an entire brick wall falling on me. I kind of wiggled my head again and felt that same weird movement in my left ear, and that's when I realized something that was like a worst nightmare come to life. There had been roaches near my bed when I woke up. Something was moving in my ear. The two little skinny things on the cotton swab were roach legs, and there was a freaking cockroach inside my ear canal. I was in complete denial for a minute or two, actually saying no, no, no out loud, trying to talk myself into being something else. But then, when I actually accepted what was happening, I started to hyperventilate. It took me a while to calm down, but when I did, the next move was to grab the pair of tweezers I had with me, carefully insert them into my ear, and try to get the roach out all on my own. I can barely even describe how horrifying it was, trying to work the tweezers in, touching the roach, then feeling it trying to scuttle further into my ear canal. It was like it was trying to burrow into my brain. I know that's not exactly how ears or brains work, and that they're not remotely connected in such a way, but in my groggy, terrified state, that's exactly what it felt like it was trying to do. The more I tried, the more it seemed to crawl away from the biting pincers of the tweezers, and I realized that if I was actually going to get this roach out of my ear, I'd have to drive to an actual hospital. And that's how I ended up driving over to the Patras. Amalia with the 5 says, "Hey Joel, it's been a while since I've caught a live stream. How you been and what I'd missed so far tonight?" Good to see you, Amalia. Doing good. Well, basically this guy's just got a fucking bug in his head, and now he's got to go to the hospital. Throw the whole head out? What are you talking about? Okay, true story. Just about a month ago, I got this device to clean out your ears, but there's a camera on it. Through an app, it links to your phone, and you can look in your ear through the app. Yeah, I was curious. Is that useful, or how is that? What's it called, by the way? You come to chill and eat, and this is the story. Yeah, first story. Perfect for dinner. Dinner. Patras. That's how I ended up driving over to the Patras Universal. Fuck. That's how I ended up driving over to the Patras University Hospital. And throughout the whole of that drive, I was acutely aware of the thing trying to burrow its way further into my ear canal. At this point, I feel like I should make it clear that while none of it was actually painful in any way, it was by far the worst kind of mental torture that I'd ever experienced in my whole life. Walking into the ER was the first piece of real luck I got, as because it was real early on a Monday morning, there was next to no one else waiting to be seen by the doctors. After some mother-daughter combo got themselves seen to, I was called up to the desk to tell them what the problem was. The first nurse I spoke to didn't speak English all that well, so I had to wait a few more minutes while she found someone that did. The next nurse spoke amazing English, but when I explained what the situation was, she had this look on her face that told me she just straight up didn't believe me. She asked if I was pain. Are you pain? She asked me if I was in pain, and I said no, but that I felt like I was going to puke. She still seemed skeptical, but then she took me to see a doctor who looked in my ear with an otoscope, and although I don't speak Greek, the muted reaction the doctor had told me that there was definitely a cockroach in my ear. Using the nurse as a translator, the doctor told me that the most important thing was for me to keep calm. As they put some wristband thing on me, I was told that getting the roach out would be relatively easy and they could 100% get the thing out, but I had to try and keep calm. If I didn't keep calm, I wouldn't be able to keep still, and to get the roach out, they were going to need... What up, Carly? What's going on? How many colors are they? What, like cockroaches? Wireless ear endoscope. It was like $15 on Amazon. I really like to clean out my ears, maybe slightly compulsively so. The cleanest ear you'll ever see. Yeah, I'll have to let the next cockroach know about that, and they can have a peek around. Too bad the cockroaches wouldn't just, have a diet of like earwax and stuff. And then they would be actually useful to climb in there. If I didn't keep calm, I wouldn't be able to keep still, and to get the roach out, they were going to need to use some pretty delicate instruments that might damage my ears if I didn't keep perfectly still. Hearing that was hardly relaxing, but the nurse advised me to control my breathing and focus on the fact that everything was going to be okay, and that actually really helped me regain my focus. After that, another nurse took my blood pressure, which turned out to be alarmingly high, but then I put all that down to the stress of the whole situation, and we all agreed that I didn't require any kind of medication for it. I had no idea exactly why they were doing all these tests on me, and I'm sure they had their reasons, but I was just desperate for them to get to the actual extraction already. Thankfully, that's the next thing they did, and the nurse explained all the stuff the doctor was saying, how they were going to use this stuff called lidocaine as a prep for getting the roach out. The lidocaine would act as a numbing agent, making it so the extraction didn't hurt while also killing the roach. The lidocaine did its job alright, but before it did, the roach went into overdrive trying to escape the fluid. And this is probably the worst it felt for me, and I'm so glad that it was over after that. But literally being able to feel the thing dying in my ear, like speeding up and just suddenly slowing down as it died. I'm not sure there are even words in the English language to sum up how horrifying it all felt. After about 2 minutes of feeling the roach die, the doctor took these big curved tweezers, then started removing the roach, but not in one go. He did it piece by piece. Once the whole thing was out of me, or at least as much as they could pull out, the nurse showed me that they'd remove... Oh, whoops. Yeah, spray Raid in the ear. Yeah, don't do that. Zert Goat with the 5 says, keep it up. Keep up the good work, Let's Read. Thank you, Goat. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, yeah. The only good roach is a dead roach. Yeah, do roaches do anything like useful for the earth? For the earth? Took my dog out, got a drink, and we're still on the roach story? Yeah, it's a long one. There's like another whole ass page of this shit. Once the whole thing was out of me, or at least as much as they could pull out, the nurse showed me what they'd removed on a napkin. I guess it would have been about an inch long when it was intact, which I know isn't all that big, but it was still a cockroach running around my ear canal, so I don't care how small it was. After that, my ear canal was given one final check over just to make sure that there was nothing left behind. Then they basically told me that I was free to go with a prescription for oral antibiotics and a type that I would need to put directly into my ear. My whole left ear basically felt numb for the next 24 hours. But then, as the week went on, it didn't really feel any better. I guess it was just the aftermath of having my ear invaded by both a cockroach and a pair of surgical tweezers. But then the half-dead scratch session in my ear just didn't stop, so when I got back to Baltimore, I went over to my doctor to get checked up again. So, about a week after I got back from Greece, I went for my appointment and told her about the whole cockroach trauma. But just to be safe, she asked a physician's assistant to flush my ear in hopes that I would remove any wax buildup. Assistant to flush my ear in the hopes that remove. Oh, I see. Food for lizards. Oh, that's a good point. But just to be safe, she asked a physician's assistant to flush my ear in the hopes that removing any wax buildup would help my hearing and get rid of the pressure. Then, once my ear had been flushed, they each took a look inside. I can't even begin to explain how much my heart sank when I heard the physician assistant say she saw what she believed to be a spiky insect leg inside my ear canal. I felt sick. The whole ordeal wasn't even over, and all I wanted was for it to finally just be over. My doctor ended up flushing my ear again, then pulling out 6 more pieces of the roach that the Greek doctors hadn't even seen. And this is almost 2 whole weeks after the whole incident first took place. I guess what I've been looking at wasn't the whole roach, and I just wanted it to be the whole roach out of pure wishful thinking. I just quietly cried while the whole thing was going on, and my doctor was amazing because she actually gave me a hug when the whole thing was done. She'd been my family doctor for years, so we had quite a close relationship like that for those wondering why she was getting a little too personal. Oops, I choked on spit. I choked on roach. Personally, you don't want to see anything taken off of our out of the body. Like you have a tooth pulled and the dentist always want to show you why. I think it's creepy. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Like I watched this one guy, he had some sort of cyst from his back removed. And like, you know, I appreciate the doctor's sense of humor, but they're like, you want to see it? And it's like, no, I don't want to fucking see the disgusting parasitic piece of tissue that lived in my body. Well, maybe I do, actually. Maybe it would be kind of cool. Yeah, it's funny, like, this isn't even like a stalker story, but for some reason I feel like this story specifically hits people the hardest. She's been my family doctor for years, so we had quite a close relationship like that, for those wondering why she was getting a little too personal. But she also comforted me because she told me that there might be more of the roach in my ear, and that she was going to make me an emergency ear, nose, and throat appointment for the next day. When the appointment was over, I went home and tried as best I could to relax before heading to the ENT clinic the next morning. When I got there, they sat me in this real comfortable examination chair, then the ear, nose, and throat doctor placed some sort of microscope next to my head. He didn't say much at all. The whole examination basically took place in silence, right up until he said the dreaded words of, there's something in there, all right. The next thing I know, he's using what looked like a large pair of scissors with a blunt end to fish around my ear canal for the rest of the roach. That time, no kind of numbing agent was used, so it was actually painful sometimes, and because of the piece of... Jesus Christ. 3 fucking appointments to get this goddamn roach out. That's disgusting. That time, no kind of numbing agent was used, so it was actually painful sometimes, and because of the piece of equipment he was using, I could hear the pieces of roach crunching as he gripped them and pulled them out. Even when he finished and had flushed my ear out with water again, to the point that he was 99% sure that he had gotten everything out, I still didn't feel that much better. That surprised me because I figured that once it was all out, I'd actually start feeling free of the whole thing. But I didn't. Instead, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that the remnants of that roach in my ear... What? But I didn't. Instead, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that the remnants of that roach was in my ear. Fat-bootied roach. Is he reading this live? I am Randy. Live as a jive. But I didn't. Instead, I couldn't stop... But I didn't. Instead, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that the remnants of that roach existed in my ear for like 2 weeks, meaning there was still a chance that I was going to develop a nasty ear infection. I've only ever really gotten over the whole thing over the past year or so, but even so, I'm deathly afraid of any crawling insect that might find its way into my ear, especially cockroaches. I'm not nearly as bad as I used to be, but it's definitely still a thing for me, and honestly, I don't expect to be completely over it anytime soon. Back those antennas up. Okay, roach story complete. Feeling a bit roachy. It's a fucking egg sac. They sucked his brains out. Can't stop squirming, that's funny. As it squirms in your ear. Your high school had a roach problem, everyone was just kind of used to it. Yeah, how do you, what do you have to do? Did you see the Black Widow video where the guy accidentally left it open and the spider had babies he didn't know all over his walls and ceiling? I don't think I've seen that one. My friend did send me a video today that I wish I didn't have to see, but it was like an Instagram video of this guy, he caught a small shark on his, fishing line. They were just out in the ocean fishing, and the shark wasn't that big, but it was I don't even know, man. I have no idea why he handled it the way he did, but he, reached down to, almost, pick it up underneath its chin or some shit, and then it just, kind of, twisted its body a little bit to grab his pinky, and then it fucking started doing a death roll, and just in a matter of a second ripped off his fucking pinky, and he was oh yep, just lost my pinky, fuck, and it was blood. It was just what the fuck were you doing, dude? Why were you just casually picking that thing up like it was a fucking catfish or some shit? I don't know. It was just the worst possible scenario. I felt bad for him. David with the 2 says, that's a very big roach. Yes. And Goat with the 2 says, chocolate covered cockroach. I never had any chocolate bugs or anything like that. Do you think roaches listen to Papa Roach? It's pretty much guaranteed, I think, because it's sort of part of their religion, I suppose, if I was a bug. There was some Popeyes in my area that had roaches all in the kitchen, got shut down by the government. I think it's still closed today. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Any sort of sanitary issues, I feel puts your business out of business. You saw that? Yeah, man, I know he was dumb to do that, but like, at the same time, I can't help feel terrible for him because, like, I don't know, whatever, maybe he never handled a shark before. I'm not saying that I have, but like, he just seemed as if though he was not confident about how he was going to grab the shark that he caught. And I have no idea what his fucking plan was, if he was trying to pose for a picture while like controlling it, but like, he just seemed like he was very kind of like loose with it and almost allowed it to, I don't know, any of those videos where you just like see where people think the animal can't reach around to just like fuck them up. You know, like you've seen that video of, I think some guy was touching the back of one of those like long snout alligators or something, and then I don't know, it just whips its whole body around, like just because it's very bendy, and just like completely bites into his skin. Or I remember seeing this rather pretty large alligator was on like a golf course, and this old like 70-year-old man, he just thought that he could walk up to it, grab it by the back of the tail, and throw it like back into the water or something like that. And maybe that's something he's done before, but like the thing just quickly turned and like just instantly like bit onto his leg, and thankfully it didn't death roll, but it just like bit onto his leg and then like knocked him over, and then like either like scurried away or something like that. I was just like, Joe, maybe he was trying to take the hook out. Well, that's a good point too. That's probably what he was trying to do. But I was thinking like, what? Maybe he had no idea what fucking fish it was, and either way, it was just like gone about in the worst possible way. Just cut the fucking line. Who gives a shit? Rather that than lose your fucking finger. I read a fictional story a year ago about a woman being drained by an insect inside her pillow. Every time she slept, it hooked its pincers into her skull and neck, and eventually she died. Huh. She just didn't even notice it. Every year some idiot gets bitten by an alligator. Yeah, all those fucking creatures that could, even like a nice little cat, you know what I mean? You see oh, here's a nice cat, like, you know, it can fuck you up. It can bite onto your hand or scratch you and just give you like some sort of nasty infection that just, you think you washed out, but its teeth like did a weird hook and created a canal that allowed whatever weird ass bacteria were in its mouth to fester, and now you just like I don't know, you have to have your fucking hand amputated or something. I just feel like animals are not worth your time sometimes. Now I don't have a pinky. That guy skipped the first 4 stages of grief and jumped right to the acceptance. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like that's how I would have reacted, and that's why I felt so bad for him, because I'm just like, just the matter-of-factness of it all, you know what I mean? Like, and, you know, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing to lose a pinky, because you still got the other ones, but, oh man, that would still suck. It'd be hard to throw a curveball. Yeah, the kid in that shark video must have been traumatized. Yeah, I think it was like his son or something, or somebody just, like, the kid was, I feel like even the kid was like, be careful, don't touch him, Dad. And then then he had to just like sit there and watch his dad get fucking slightly ripped to shreds. Okay, I have over 6 years wilderness experience, and I can tell you don't mess with critters like that. For sure, yeah. I don't know. Animals, I feel like no matter how much you think you know them, even the ones that like, I don't know, those people that have, like even a fucking pit bull, you know what I mean? And any dog, really, and I'm not saying pit bulls only, but like, you just, I don't know, a wild animal is a wild animal at the end of the day. Hence why I feel like it's important to have like dogs that are maybe smaller than you or something. Hector, appreciate you. Thank you. I don't know, I would miss my little finger. I like to pretend I'm Dr. Evil sometimes. This is true, yeah. And if you ever like, imagine that, you're like taking a sip of your water, and if you can't lift your pinky out, like, people are going to think that you're not fancy. You know what I mean? It'd be really embarrassing if you were around like the queen. Like hypothetically, you had to go have dinner with the queen. She would think you're a fucking joke. She's like, what? Where's your little finger? Why is it not out? Well, Your Highness, you were mishandling a shark, weren't you? Trying to pull out the hook, weren't you? Yes, ma'am. Your Highness, sorry. Get your fucking grovel out of my face. In June of 2018, Boston area anesthesiologist Jaleesa Jackson and I don't know if I can pronounce this. Chidozie. Oh, wait, did they actually? Oh, no. Their name is Chidozie Uwandu. In June of 2018, Boston area anesthesiologist Jaleesa Jackson and Chidozie Uwandu decided on a week's vacation in Southern California. 29-year-old Jaleesa and 28-year-old Chidozie had met while studying at the prestigious Johns Hopkins. Sounded like Billy the Butcher. Oh my god. Who's the actor that plays Billy the Butcher, dude? He's a fucking G and he's very talented. Billy the Butcher actor. I mean, I've seen him in so much stuff and Carl Urban. He's really impressive. Like, he's been in so much shit. But I don't even know. He said some line or something in like episode 3 or something where like, I'm not even sure what it was, but it was so creepy, but for no reason. Like, he's like, all right, love. Like, he turned his head, like, but there was like no reason. It almost seemed like he was doing it to be funny, but they just fucking kept it in there, and I don't even know. It was real. I wish I could find the quote, because it was just like so out of place, and so I don't know. Is that his real accent? Because you know what's really funny is like the first episode they have Simon Pegg, and he has to do an American accent, and like I just feel like me and my friends were laughing because there are just times where you can kind of just like sort of hear his accent like coming through, like he can't control it. He's got to say water instead of water. I was thirsty for a bit of water. I was thirsty for a bit of water, son. How are you? Oh, it's a fake accent. It just seemed like he was like memeing really hard, and they're like, fuck it, we're keeping it. Chidozie, okay. 29-year-old Jaleesa and 28-year-old Chidozie had met while studying at the prestigious Johns Hopkins University of Medicine down in Baltimore, and were already an item by the time they moved up to Boston together. Their personal life was hallmarked by a deeply loving romantic relationship, but their professional lives were deeply stressful, with each routinely working 14-hour shifts either 5 or 6 days a week, and even on their days off they were sometimes called into work to conduct essential medical procedures. Each of them found this lifestyle to be utterly exhausting, so when it came time to pick a vacation spot, they chose a place as far away from Boston as they possibly could: Los Angeles. After traveling 3,000 miles across the country, they checked into a small oceanside guest house they'd rented via AIRBNB. The place had some truly excellent reviews, and its owner was so popular with those that rented from him that the company had designated him a superhost, meaning he provided almost flawless customer service while making himself easily available to those that stayed at the property. Waiting for them at the property was a chilled bottle of wine, along with a friendly welcome note from the owner, who referred to themselves as JJ. He wished them a delightful stay, thanked them for their custom. Thank them for their custom. Is that a verb? Can you do a Skinwalker live with Swampy Dweller? Like me and him. That'd be kind of sick. Me and him go explore Skinwalker Ranch together. That would be the most epic gamer moment of all time. Is that a thing, custom? What does that even mean? Whatever, I'm just gonna read it, I don't care. Christina, what's going on? This story happened an hour from you? Uh-oh. Who paid you and how much, who and why? I don't know what you're asking, Mr. Conway, 2K. Can you give me a little bit more context as to what crazy things you were saying? Can you do a Mad Mike impression? I feel like I don't quite remember what Mad Mike sounds like. I couldn't believe it. All the things that came together at that time. Everything was so scary, all at once. Like, for some reason, I feel like I vaguely remember his cadence kind of being like that. I haven't seen Mad Mike in forever. I hope he's doing well. I'd need to wear a mask to keep the mystery going. This is true. I could just be the cameraman. I would film him. Bro, are you real? Bro, I'm not, honestly. I'm just a figment. Oh, a Magic Mike impression. And now I'm gonna do some Magic Mike magician tricks. He wished them a delightful stay, thanked them for their custom, then left his contact details just in case they needed anything. Then, feeling like they were in safe hands, Jaleesa and Chidozi packed away their things, then settled in for the night. Fuck. Let me spray my throat. I should do a butt reveal, Ace Ventura style. That's funny. I actually did that, joke to my friend the other day, talked to him with my butt. Pretty much, he saw God at that point. I'm not really sure if this shit helps or not, but it certainly tastes good, this Beekeeper's Naturals throat spray. A new Netflix documentary about Skinwalker Ranch, but it seems a bit cheesy and staged. Anime Supremes scare me. Do I know Magic Mike? You have to tear off your shirt and gyrate to White Pony. Do you know the Magic Mike, the Magic Mike, the Magic Mike? Did I look into that other spray? I think it was around that time that I must have just bought that one, but I got a bunch of shit. I got the chloroseptic shit here, but I think you're only supposed to use that every 4 hours because it's, it's got the chemicals in it and shit. Phenol. It's got phenol, 1.4%. Yeah, I don't know. He wished them a delightful stay, thanked them for their custom, then left his contact details just in case they needed anything. Then, feeling like they were in safe hands, Jaleesa and Chidozi packed away their things, then settled in for the night. They believed that they were in for a dream vacation, the perfect anecdote to their high-pressure, career-driven lives. Yet little did they know, their vacation would turn into a living nightmare. Around 5:30 the next morning, the couple woke up to the sound of a loud. Oh, yeah. You have the same Beekeeper's throat spray my mom got it for me. Oh, yeah. It tastes good. It's yummy. I was curious if it had calories or not. I don't think it does. Is that a yes on the Skinwalker with Swamp? Please say yes. Are we supposed to... Are we going to Skinwalker Ranch? What's going on with that? Around 5:30 the next morning, the couple woke up to the sound of a loud and violent banging sound coming from the front door. The commotion just about frightened the life out of them, but a brave Jaleesa grabbed her phone, readied herself to call 911, then approached the front door to see what was going on. As she got closer, she heard a rough male voice barking, "I know you're in there, Kevin." Damn. As she got closer, she heard a rough male voice barking, "I know you're in there, Kevin." Jaleesa peered through the door's peephole, spying an unhinged, enraged man on the other side, and after barking at him to get away from the property, she decided to call JJ to let him know what was going on. But then, just as the dial tone started, The sound of a phone ringing could be heard from the other side of the door. Jaleesa then opened the door, looked the man dead in the face, and asked, "JJ?" Yet the man simply looked up at her. Dude, what the fuck is going on? You'll go to Skinwalker Ranch if you're getting paid big money. Well, that's the thing, is like, can you even go there? Or is it like, if you went there just casually, since isn't it bought by somebody recently? Like, wouldn't it be trespassing at that point? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yet the man simply looked up at her, and with a startled look on his face... Oops. Yet the man simply looked up at her with a startled look on his face, then ran off into the night. As you can imagine, Jaleesa was horribly confused, as was Chidozi when the details of... I hope I'm saying her name right. Chidozi. Chidozi. Yeah, I think it's Chidozi. As you can imagine, Jaleesa was horribly confused, as was Chidozi when the details of the incident were relayed to him. Wait, Chidozi's a... Or wasn't it... Oh, okay. I guess it didn't say... I thought Chidozi was a Goral, but I guess it's a guy. Okay. Hey, Conway 2K with the 169 New Zealand. Thank you, my friend. As you can imagine, Jaleesa was horribly confused, as was Chidozi when the details of the incident were relayed to him. Then, demanding an answer, Jaleesa began calling JJ incessantly until he finally answered his phone. JJ seemed completely unapologetic regarding the bizarre incident and told Jaleesa, "Yeah, that was me. Sorry about the confusion, but that's too short for me to give you an ex." Yeah, that was me. Sorry about the confusion, but that's too short for me to give you an explanation. Have a nice time in LA. Jaleesa tried to fish for more of an explanation, bemused and outraged that a so-called superhost, who had seemed so warm and friendly in their welcome note, had turned out to be anything but. Yet before she had a chance to ask him anything, JJ hung up on her. "Maybe things are just different on the West Coast," Jaleesa told Chidozi in an attempt to explain JJ's bizarre and alarming behavior, and both agreed that it was certainly made for a memorable welcome to one of the United States' most famous cities. The couple then spent the day at a nearby beach, and by the time the sun began to set, that morning's incident was almost completely forgotten. When they were done at the beach, Jaleesa and Chidozi... Man. Yuri, no worries, what's going on? Chidozi made their way back. When they were done at the beach, Jaleesa and Chidozi made their way back to their Airbnb, with the remainder of the evening being pleasant and... God, I don't know why I'm fucking this up. When they were done at the beach, Jaleesa and Chidozi made their way back to their Airbnb, with the remainder of their evening being pleasantly uneventful. They finished off the rest of their wine, ate some of the best tacos they'd ever eaten in their lives, then sank into bliss while enjoying a saccharine? Saccharine. Saccharin. Related to characters of sugar, saccharin, sweet night. Okay. Should do demon encounters. Are you a demon? They finished off the rest of their wine, ate some of the best tacos they'd ever eaten in their lives, then sank into bliss while enjoying a saccharine rom-com courtesy of Netflix. It was only after they'd retired to bed did the terror ramp up exponentially. God damn, man, I'm not really sure why I'm struggling so much with this shit. Saccharini. It was only after they'd retired to bed did the terror ramp up exponentially. Shortly after 2 o'clock in the morning, the couple was scared out of their skin when a hooded figure literally came crashing through the large window of their darkened bedroom. The violent intrusion sent shards of glass everywhere, and both halves of the couple let out screams of terror as the figure smashed their way into the bedroom. I had no idea what was happening, Chidozi recalled, but I reacted like we were under attack. In an instant, the 230-pound, 6-foot Chidozi leapt on the man as he simply lay there motionless on the bedroom floor. He tore up his bare feet on the broken glass in the process, but the surging adrenaline meant he barely felt it. In that moment, all that mattered was securing and detaining the maniacal intruder so that they wouldn't be free to harass them again. As he shoved his knee into the intruder's back, Chidozi screamed at Jaleesa to call 911. He later said that he'd feared that the man might be hiding a weapon, or that more intruders might be attempting to force their way into the residence. As Jaleesa grabbed her phone and rushed to call 911, her boyfriend barked at her to hide under the table, just in case any other armed men were about to burst into the bedroom. As she did so, Jaleesa made a mental note of the man's attire, the goal of which was to provide an accurate description As she did so, Jaleesa made a mental note of the man's attire, the goal of which was to provide as accurate a description as possible to the emergency dispatcher. When she tried to get a look at his face, and the hood of his jacket began to work its way back from his face, she noticed something that instantly sent chills through her. What the fuck? This is such a weird sentence. Yet when she tried to look at her face, and the hood of his jacket began to work its way back from his face. Okay, I see. You're going to Mexico for the first time? You're so excited. Nice, yeah, be safe, be safe. Hello, Joel, how are you? I've been listening to you tell stories for a year now. You tell good stories. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. When was the popcorn bucket comment at the end of the latest vid? When was it, or what do you mean? Like, do you think that was like a true story, or what are you talking about? Yet when she tried to get a look at his face, and as the hood of his jacket began to work its way back from his face, she noticed something that instantly sent chills through her. JJ? She called out, recognizing their so-called superhost as the man who had just smashed his way into their bedroom. Chidozi was so shocked by his girlfriend's cry that he took on... Chidozi was so shocked by his girlfriend's cry that he took his knee off of JJ's back, turning him over to confirm that the person terrorizing them was actually their apparent benevolent landlord. Yet the moment he loosened his grip, JJ tore himself free, then bolted from the building as fast as his legs could carry him. Minutes later, Jaleesa Jackson was telling the police that they had just been attacked by their own AIRBNB host and that he had gone crazy and that they needed assistance as soon as possible. Then, while awaiting the arrival of armed officers, Jaleesa and Chidozi armed themselves with the biggest kitchen knives, then hunkered down in preparation for another assault. Yet while they waited, they suddenly heard the sounds of a helicopter hovering overhead. Then moments later, the courtyard between the guest house and the main house was awash with flashing lights. Jaleesa then noticed two police officers leading a handcuffed man back towards the property. It was JJ, and he was ranting and raving about cleaning fees. He had apparently told the police that he had ordered his tenants to move out after they failed to pay cleaning fees, but as commotion unfolded, an elderly woman emerged from the main house and asked what was going on. It turned out the woman was the property's true owner, and that she had rented the guest house out to JJ on the condition that he wouldn't sublet it from it. Oh, wow. That's kind of fascinating. This guy wasn't even the owner of the fucking house. It turned out that the woman was the property's true owner, and that she had rented the guest house out to JJ on the condition that he wouldn't sublet it from anyone else. Jaleesa and Chidozi told her that, as far as they... I don't know why I'm like fucking up the fucking... just like cadence of the reading. Jaleesa and Chidozi told her that, as far as they knew, JJ rented the place out all the time, and that it was in fact his primary source of income. They asked her how she hadn't noticed all the people coming and going with luggage, but the woman meekly replied that she thought that they were all just JJ's friends. Thankfully, after placing a few calls to AIRBNB, the company refunded the couple the full $708 they had paid to rent the guest house, and also offered to relocate them to another property at no additional cost. However, due to the trauma they'd experienced, Jaleesa and Chidozi had no desire to patronize AIRBNB in the future, and checked into a local Hilton hotel, even though it cost them an additional $2,300 to do so. In the aftermath, they sought $5,000 worth of compensation for AIRBNB. For AIRBNB or from? What's up, Butters? And Ariana, what's going on? In the aftermath. Yeah, they should have checked for roaches first. In the aftermath, they sought $5,000 worth of compensation from AIRBNB, owing to the terror and trauma they'd experienced. But after a period of intense haggling with the company's grievance department, the best offer they could get was $2,500. AIRBNB did offer to sweeten the deal by paying for 5 therapy sessions for each of the couple, which they argued would tip the total compensation amount to well over. Oh my god. AIRBNB did offer to sweeten the deal by paying for 5 therapy sessions for each of the couple, which they argued would tip the total compensation amount to well over $5,000. But Jaleesa and Chidozi refused. If you think that seems extremely miserly... Miserly? What the fuck is miserly? Miserly? Is that a word? Miserly. Oh, I'm an idiot. Miserly, of, relating to, or the characteristics of miser, avaricious, or... Man, I suck at reading. I don't even know the description words that they know when they're describing this word to be. Miser. What is miser? A mean, grasping person. One who's extremely stingy with money. Okay. What's up, Tea Factory? Oh, poor, let's read. If you think that seems extremely miserly of AIRBNB, you'd be right, as according to Forbes magazine, the company is worth around $38 billion, with an annual revenue of just over $2 billion. Almost every single night, a jaw-dropping 2 million people stay in AIRBNB. Almost every single night, a jaw-dropping 2 million people stay in AIRBNB properties in over 8,000 cities around the world. So surely, they have the revenue to properly compensate a couple who went through something so horrific and traumatic. And for a company whose entire business model is based on trust, and who proclaims your safety is our priority, The incident in LA shows a chilling failure of Airbnb's screening system. The company itself has claimed that no screening system is perfect, but while this remains the case, couples like Jaleesa and Chidozi will continue to be at the mercy of crooks and villains who only wish to prey on their fellow man. I'm just confused, like what the fuck was that JJ guy on? Like was he on like meth or fucking crack or LSD? Like what the fuck was going on? Just seems kind of ridiculous. You just had a freak out, Dormouse? How come? What are you freaking out about? My name is Jen. I'm in my 40s, and me and my friend run a business via AIRBNB here in the UK. We own a few different properties across London, and while my friend acts as the financial backing, I run the day-to-day business of dealing with repairs and quest queries, as well as inspecting the rentals both before the guests arrive and after they check out. As you can imagine, summertime is our busiest period of the year, with business picking up a lot around Christmas too. But then we always have this really quiet period around the autumn where we struggle to break even, and it really puts a dent in our annual profits. So imagine our joy when last year we got a 3-week-long booking for one of our swankier properties in North London. It was a huge payday for us, even with the block discount that Airbnb mandates, and we tried to be as welcoming and accommodating as possible to increase the chance of repeat business. For those of you that have used Airbnb before, you'll know that the vast majority of rentals are completely non-contact, and that style of rental only increased over the course of the pandemic. That means that we didn't meet our renters even once, and throughout the whole of their 3-week stay, we didn't receive a single call from them. The only thing we knew is that one of the 2 guests was a girl named... Oh, I see. You can't freak out, you don't have the luxury? Oh, I thought you said you freaked out or something. My name is Jeff. The only thing we knew is that one of the 2 guests was a girl named Alice. Alice paid the deposit, the rental fee, everything. So about halfway through the stay, I dropped Alice a text to ask if everything was going okay. The reply said nothing other than, like, fine, thanks, so we assumed their stay was going wonderfully. I certainly wasn't complaining that they were low-maintenance guests because as much as I don't mind helping out where and when I'm needed, there's nothing worse than a guest who keeps calling you up every 5 minutes, asking where things are, claiming that things are broken when they're not. When their 3 weeks were over, I made my way over to the flat to make sure everything was in order. I wasn't expecting anything to rough. Rough? I wasn't expecting anything to be rough. Maybe a few towels left on the floor, maybe a full bin bag, the usual stuff that people leave behind when they're in a hurry to leave. We'd had someone really make a mess of one of the flats before after having an all-night party there, so I was always ready to be greeted by an absolute horror show. But nothing could have prepared me for what I found in that flat that day. I knew something was wrong almost immediately after trying to get into the flat, as there seemed to be something blocking the door from the other side. It took me a good few shoves to get in. Then I saw that someone had piled some chairs up against the door as a means of slowing down entry, but not completely barring access. I also noticed how cold it was, which was the first hint that I got that someone had left one of the windows open, something we specifically asked guests not to do since the area had something of a pigeon problem. I rather quickly deduced that whoever had tried to bar the door had done so, then used a window to actually leave the flat. By why ever in God's name they'd want to do that was a complete mystery to me, at least for the next few minutes anyway. I walked into the living room to shut the window, and I could tell that it was the living room because of the cold breeze coming from it, and that's when I saw the mess they'd made. But unlike the mess the partiers leave behind, which, what is the sentence? Mr. D5, thank you, good to see ya. Was it, but unlike the mess... Oh, maybe they figured they added an extra word. Isn't breakfast included? JJ breaks through the wall. Oh, yeah. You rang. Hi, JJ. I needed some pancakes. Sure thing. Be right back. But unlike the mess the partiers leave behind, which tended to be loads of empty bottles and cans, cigarette butts, that sort of thing, the place looked like there had been some kind of fight. Loads of glasses and plates were smashed. The chairs were gone. The tables were overturned. It was a complete mess. The next place I checked was the bathroom, deciding to leave. What is this? I don't understand. There's like extra words. It's fucking confusing as shit. Galactic bitch, what up? She was an absolute galactic bitch. The next place I checked... Okay, the next place I checked was the bedroom, deciding to leave the bath... Oh, I see. The next place I checked was the bedroom, deciding to leave the bathroom till last because I was honestly dreading whatever had been left in there. Oh, shit. Sorry. Twerking really dries me out. Crisella with the 30 buccarinos. Thank you, Crisella. Appreciate you. Oh, fuck, my throat just got really dry. Throwing it down. Thank you, Crisella. Appreciate you. Butter your cheeks, Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. It's like breaking through the wall and like twerking. Mr. DF5 with the 10 says, I'm not rolling in cash, but I want to support. No worries. Good to see you, and thank you so much. I appreciate any support, honestly, even just being here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Twerk so hard he choked. The peaches, the juices just worked their way up to my throat. Yeah, I just pulled a cheek. It's a very common twerking injury. Dead-ass Beetlejuice. Yeah, people say I do a pretty good Beetlejuice impression. Maybe that's just my natural voice. The next place I checked was the bedroom, deciding to leave the bathroom till last because I was honestly dreading whatever had been. The next place I checked was the bedroom, deciding to leave the bathroom till last because I was honestly dreading whatever had been left in there, and seeing the state the bedroom had been left in just made me dread it even more. There were all kinds of empty condom wrappers all over the bedroom, as well as all kinds of adult toys strewn around the room. The sheets had stains on them, and God knows what they'd come from. but the whole room just reeked of you know what. It was disgusting. Finally, I braced myself to check the bathroom to see what kind of mess had been... I don't know why I can't, like, fucking... Joel is Beetlejuice. Know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I'm Beetlejuice. I'm Beetlejuice as fuck. You need coffee. I drink so much caffeine, it's bad for me, honestly. That's crazy. My one friend, he watched this one YouTuber all the time. He was like 45, 46 years old, and he just died of a heart attack, that YouTuber. I forget what his name was or whatever, but I don't know, my friend was like telling me about it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. It doesn't even matter, like, you think you can be on top of the world doing your thing, and he did drink a lot of, like, Red Bull. Do you think Red Bull can kill you? I know it's a weird question, but I'm just, like, wondering, like, could it cause, excess caffeine cause, like, some sort of... I'm eating 200 calories, but it feels like 1,000? Why are you? Is your tummy all shriveled up? What's going on? One was so big he called it a dildozer. Can you do a Duke... Wait, how about a Duke Nukem voice? Oh, yeah. I'm here to kick ass, chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Is that Duke Nukem? I forget which. It literally gave him wings. Yeah, literally. What if that's the whole fucking... Holy shit, what if that's like... It's like a wink and a nod towards the fact that when they made it, they're like, yeah, this is probably gonna kill people. We'll just say it gives you wings. Like some weird dark humor shit. Hey guys, let's make fucking rat poison and sell it. And then make fun of people who buy it. Too much caffeine can take a person out, yes. But I'm just wondering, like, how much, and how much over what time? Like, what detriment does it do to you over a period of time? Say you had, like, a certain amount of milligrams a day. Like, what does it do to you? I drank 3 of the big Red Bulls at work one day, and I seriously thought I was going to die. I had to call my boss to check. Well, yeah, I mean, like, in one go, too much caffeine, especially, like, the synthetic shit, I feel like it can really fuck you up for sure. Give you anxiety, guaranteed, all the cortisol and stress hormones that it was releasing. That was their warning label. Four Loko made me feel like I was dying. Yeah, some people died from Four Loko. They drank like 4 of them in one night and like just blacked out and died. The limit does not exist. My heart was pounding so bad, ringing in my ears and blurred vision. Yeah, I can imagine if you drank that many, you'd probably feel a little woozy. 3 would probably give you chronic shits. They say 3 to 4 espressos a day is actually good for you. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. I mean, I know caffeine speeds up your heart rate, but I mean, like... Yeah, I just wonder what the specifics are, like... If there's any long-term studies on energy drinks or stuff, just like, and what it does, because you think we would have enough data by now, it's been like, I don't even know, 10, 20 years or some shit. I guess caffeine's been around forever. A man in Wales died after ingesting an amount of caffeine powder equivalent to as many as 200 cups of coffee. Damn. And I wonder if there's any sort of like chemical you could take to reverse those effects, or if you just like, you gotta go see God, man. There were all kinds of empty condom wrappers all over the bedroom, as well as all kinds of adult toys strewn around the room. The sheets had stains on them, and God knows what they'd come from, but the whole room just reeked of you-know-what. It was disgusting. Finally, I braced myself to check the bathroom to see what kind of mess had been left behind, expecting something god-awful that I'd probably have to spend the rest of the morning cleaning. But then, like I said, I could never have been ready for what was behind that door. I pushed open the bathroom door, took a peek inside, then immediately slammed it closed after seeing something lying in the bath. Something person-shaped. I say person-shaped because just from the split second I saw it, it didn't actually look like a person. Not a living one anyway. It was all lumpy and covered in gore, almost like it was just pieces of fresh meat butchered and piled on top of one another. I think I was just in denial about what I saw at first. I mean, I didn't want it to be what it was, so in those few moments, I tried to think of everything it could have been instead of what it actually was. I don't know what actually drove me to open the door again. I certainly didn't want to, if that makes any sense. I think I'd actually managed to convince myself that what I'd seen wasn't real, that I'd just assumed the worst after seeing the rest of the flat, and that it just wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Only, it was as bad as I thought it was. If anything, it was worse. It was a body, and it was just lying there in the bath in probably the worst condition you can possibly imagine. Partly the reason why I didn't recognize it as one immediately was because the girl's face was so beaten up that she didn't even look like human. Fuck. Oh no, bro. What happened? Joel, Aunt, read my comments like meeting a celebrity. Yeah, if a celebrity is also your garbage man. Honestly, we should treat garbage men like celebrities. When they come by to pick up your garbage in the morning, you should, like, wave at them and just want to shake their hand and kiss their feet and stuff. And be like, oh my god, I love you. I love it when you take my trash away. Because if it wasn't for you, my house would be so stinky and I'd have garbage everywhere. Yeah, turn off the lights and light a candle and just let the next guest come in. Partly the reason why I didn't recognize it as one immediately is because the girl's face was so beaten up that she didn't even look human anymore. There wasn't a single patch of skin that didn't have blood drying on it, but it wasn't that brown-looking bud, fucking shit. Trash daddy. There wasn't a single patch of skin that didn't have blood drying on it, but it wasn't that brown-looking blood that had clotted. It actually still looked kind of fresh, like it had only been there for a few hours at the most. I immediately pulled my phone out, dialing 999 to tell them that I needed the police as quickly as they could get. Give me your autograph, and his hands covered in some just mysterious sludge. Sure, sweetheart. You want to get in our truck? I immediately pulled my phone out, dialing 999 to tell them that I needed the police as quickly as they could get there. The girl, who I assume was the girl who'd rented from us, was just laying there, perfectly still, and I couldn't hear her breathing or anything, so I just assumed that she was dead. I even told the bloke on the other end of the line. God, I feel like I keep thinking that the sentence isn't going to have another few words to add onto the descriptor, but it does, and it confuses my brain. I just figured it'd be I even told the bloke on the other end, but then it just, oh well, whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about, to be honest. I even told the bloke on the other end of the line that I was almost certain she was dead, and that's when he asked me to check her pulse to make sure. I did as he asked, 100% certain that I wouldn't feel a thing because in my mind, no one on earth could survive the kind of violence that she'd been put through. I don't even think that I was touching the right spot on her neck at first because again, I couldn't feel a thing, and after racking my brain for a minute, trying to remember the girl's name, I think I just blanked because of the panic. I just asked, oh my god, I get to the fucking end of the sentence and I just fuck it up. My gird. I don't think I was touching the right spot on her neck at first. I don't even think. I don't even think I was touching the right spot on her neck at first, because again, I couldn't feel a thing, and after racking my brain for a minute, trying to remember the girl's name, I think I just blanked because of the panic. I just said, "Alice?" And then, she opened her eyes. Having that happen, like she'd properly come back from the dead or something, was the single most terrifying moment of my life. It was absolutely horrendous. They were all bloodshot too, and one of them had absolutely no white in the eye whatsoever. It was just a bright red mess of broken blood vessels. Then, as soon as she laid eyes on me, she started screaming and lashing out, terrifying me so much as I just ran out of the flat and into the corridor outside while shouting that she's alive down the phone. I remember the guy on the other end of the phone telling me to go and unlock the front door to the flat building, since it was an old-style place with a door you could leave on the latch. With a door you could leave on the latch? Your recliner is haunted? Hell yeah, dude. My garbage disposal's haunted too. It makes all these weird gurgly noises, like there's some sort of beast in there, perhaps a demon. I remember the guy on the other end of the phone telling me to go unlock the front doors of the flat to the flat building, since it was an old style place with a door you could leave on the latch. What the fuck? I remember the guy on the other end of the phone telling me to go and unlock the front door to the flat building, since it was an old style place with a door you could leave on the latch. After that, I had to run back upstairs to make sure the girl didn't let it out of the flat. Didn't let it out of the flat? What is let what out of the flat? After that, I had to run back upstairs to make sure the girl didn't let it out of the flat as she... After that, I had to run back upstairs to make sure the girl didn't let herself out of the flat, as she had obviously just launched into fight or flight mode after waking up and thinking that she was still in danger. When I got upstairs, the girl was half naked, just slouched in the hallway outside the flat, and she was crying her eyes out. I told her to stay put, and that the ambulance was on the way. Then all she did was cry those choked sobs while her tears cleared the blood from her face. And that's another image I'll never get out of my head. How her tears actually seemed to clean the blood from the parts of her deformed face they'd touched. When the paramedics arrived, I found out that the only reason she actually... When the paramedics arrived, I found out that the only reason she hadn't actually run off after waking up screaming because she literally... I can't make it through a sentence, bro. Literally no fucking clue what the fuck is being said half the time. How is this English, but it feels like a different language? When the paramedics arrived, I found out that the only reason she hadn't actually run off after waking up screaming because she it's just like one word's missing and it fucks me up. When the paramedics arrived, I found out that the only reason she hadn't actually run off after waking up When the paramedics arrived, I found out that the only reason she hadn't actually run off after waking up screaming was because she literally couldn't. I don't know what kind of damage had been done to her legs, but the paramedics had to bring in a stretcher up to the hallway to actually get her down into the ambulance. After she was taken to the hospital, a second set of policemen, the first went with her to the hospital, asked me to stay out of the flat on behalf of a forensics team which were on their way down. Then they proceeded to ask me a load of questions regarding exactly what I'd seen and what I knew about the people renting. Obviously, I knew next to nothing other than her name and the amount of time that she'd been staying for, but I answered their questions as best they could. They also promised to keep me in the loop regarding certain details of the investigation so I could pass on the details to our insurance company for the eventual claim we were going to file with them. About a week or so later, I got a call from an officer, and while he didn't exactly tell me oh, I rubbed my DNA all over, is that bad? About a week or so later, I got a call from an officer, and while he didn't fuck me, god damn it, I don't know why I'm struggling so fucking hard on this shit. About a week or so later, I got a call from an officer, and while he didn't tell me exactly what had happened, he told me everything he was permitted to tell me. Basically, the two girls who rented the flat were call girls who'd come down from the north to use the place as a kind of base of operations for 3 weeks because they could basically charge more for their services in London than they could up north. At least, that was their logic. Apparently their little idea had worked. Apparently their little idea had worked really well, and they'd had a profitable, relatively trouble-free few weeks. But then, on the night before they'd been due to check out, some local gangsters had gotten wind of their little operation and didn't take kindly to them operating in their area. Apparently these girls were charging quite a bit of money, but it was still lower than the rate that these gangsters had agreed upon for all their girls. So, they hatched a little plan. They would raid the flat the girls were staying in, scare them enough that they'd leave the area, and take any money they'd made in the process. But the thing was, the girls didn't keep much money in the flat with them and were taking the cash to a friend of theirs. Hey, Twisted Technician, what up with the 10? Says, hey, let's read, hope you're having a great night. And I'm baked. Lamau. Baked like a potato. A loaded potato with butter, sour cream, salt, pepper, garlic stuff, and I don't know what else. Anybody got any ideas? But the thing was, the girls didn't keep much money in the flat with them, and were taking the cash to a friend of theirs. Why do I keep saying theirs? A friend of theirs. I'm a fucking pirate. But the thing was, the girls didn't keep much money in the flat with them, and were taking the cash to a friend of theirs who just so happened to live in London too. That's how only one girl ended up getting left the bath. Getting left the bath. Is that how you say it? Isn't there like a word in between? Left in the bath? Hey, Christina M. with a big $20 donation. Thank you, Christina. No message, but if you have one, please do at me. Thank you, thank you. That's how only one girl ended up getting left in the bath. She ended up being the only one they beat the crap out of and torturing as a means of scaring the other girl, who they forced out of the window before making her lead them to where they'd stashed all their money. And that was all I was told. And as much as the officer hinted that they got a few blokes in custody, he obviously couldn't tell me who they were or who they were affiliated with. And that's all the info I got too, as the police didn't get back in touch aside to tell us that we were free to use the apartment again, and I was more focused on the insurance claim than anything else after that. That was the single worst incident in the history of our little Airbnb business, and probably one of the worst things I'd ever come across. It's a sticker giving you a heart too. I appreciate that, yeah. It's a sticker. I'm the Viper, and I've come to vipe your windows. Your windows. That was the single worst incident in the history of our little Airbnb business, and probably one of the worst things I'd ever come across in my entire life. Also, it was kind of sad earlier. I was on a bike ride. You know, I learned how to ride a bike without training wheels. And, you know, I got like an energy drink from this one, a little mini mart. And as I was going, I had it in my hand, but I guess it was I had a bit of a limp wrist, right? Bit of a limp wrist, and then I hit a bump, and the fucking energy drink just like went smashing onto the ground, and I lost about 75% of it on the concrete, and then I just had to like stop my bike casually while everyone and their mother were staring at me, and I went and picked it up and proceeded to keep riding while drinking the last 25%. But I only took that as a sign that I got the wrong flavor, and I went and got another one that I kind of wanted to get, but I didn't get because of fear of change. So this time around I tried something new. Purple flavor. Perp drank. I was literally drinking energy drink and lean mixed together. Okay, that was story 3, right? Yes. And this is story 4 of 7. That's God telling you to stop with the energy drinks. You know, that might be a good point. Are they bad? I don't know. But what if they are bad, what do they do, you know? My also thought process was that guy died of circumstances that we just wouldn't be aware of, you know what I mean? Because I heard he had a heart attack, but obviously there's other things that may have been played into it or whatever, but I don't know. Ask my parents. What am I asking my parents about? They are quite busy. Drink something else, please. Why though? That's what I don't understand. Like, yeah, if it's just caffeine, the worst thing is the sugar. Well, that's the thing. I drink the sugar-free ones. So I'm just curious, like, what? Like, if someone can look up the science, right? If someone here is bored and they want to look up some science pertaining to energy drinks, I'm all ears. But I just don't, you know what I mean? Like, what? And I only have usually like one a day, so like 300 milligrams a day. Maybe coffee earlier too. So somewhere between 3 and 400 milligrams of caffeine a day, which I don't think is like, I mean, it's a lot, but I feel like it's not like a lot. You don't like anything with caffeine? I love it. I used to not like it, but then I worked night shift, and it was the only thing to pass the time, was just drinking something that to give me some sort of feeling. If you're prone to heart attacks, don't use stimulants. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I don't think I'm prone to... my chest. No, I don't know. I don't fucking know. It says over 5 a day, caffeine overdose. If you yeah, I don't know. You said you're bored, Joel. Yeah, what are you talking about? I think it's too much at once for the heart to give you palpitations or something. You know, it's true. Yeah, maybe it's just like for certain people it kicks you into a certain arrhythmia that you may not be. Actually, the taurine is bad for your heart. Oh, the taurine. Yeah, what the fuck does taurine do? Because they got... Ooh. It makes me shake like a chihuahua. The brain of Brina with 30 buccarinos says, long-time lurker here. I'm at an Airbnb right now on Bethany Beach, sitting on the deck, listening to the waves, enjoying some wine. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Brina. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're having a good vacation. Getting some sun. Or, well, I guess it's late now, huh? Doesn't feel late. I feel like I have no concept of time right now. Taurine. Yeah, what does taurine do? I was addicted to caffeine. I stopped 2 years now, helping with anxieties. Yeah, I imagine so. Mr. Deify with 5 says, I was sent a message because of character limit. Oh, okay. Like pertaining to taurine, or what are we talking about? Oh. Yeah, you know, Mr. Deified, some people are just nuts, and I guess at the end of the day, I've talked to people and it's like, if they want to get your information, you know, that's kind of how doxing works, sadly. There's really not much you can do other than just sort of protect yourself, just in general, just like anybody else would protect themselves, either with some form of self-defense, security stuff in your house, a dog. You know, apparently a dog is like one of the best, you know, home securities you can possibly have, really. But sadly, some people on the internet, when you put yourself out there, are just psycho. Their brains are just weird and different, and they have a proclivity towards either intimidation or violence, and hopefully it never gets to that point, but I don't know. If I didn't use artificial sweeteners, I'd be obese. You know, I consume quite a few artificial sweeteners, but I hear that they still cause a bit of a insulin response in your body, and that's kind of what tends to hold on to fat, I suppose. Dude, I felt the same fucking way about the meeting and the boys. Okay, so sorry, I think your stream might be a little bit way back, but that's okay. Yeah, that part in the show was just like so random and just like, what the fuck? Like, to the point that it was almost like a parody of itself. The fact that the main character was just like eating a sandwich on the bench, like, huh? How did I get here? You know, like, did they just pigeonhole me in here just to have a plot point? Long-term use suggests will slow your metabolism of caffeine, or what? Have you thought about doing any voice acting gigs? I'd like to, honestly. I'm definitely open to it. You bought bear spray. Yeah, that means, you know, any way to safely protect yourself is a good thing. Everything we eat or drink is unhealthy. Yeah, maybe I'll just take a break from eating or drinking. Energy drinks can make your blood vessels narrower, making it harder to pump blood. When this happens, your heart will try to pump harder, which can increase your heart beat and heart rhythm. Yeah, but that sounds as if though it's occurring within the, well, yeah, because it's like it's caffeine, so it's releasing cortisol, which is like your stress hormone. So it seems as if though it's like happening within, it's happening within a acute situation, like as in the immediate. But perhaps, yeah, I guess, because I feel like in the same way, like that same level of narrowing of your blood vessels and the increasing of your blood pressure and that kind of thing is kind of similar to exercise as well, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's got to be info out there, though, that really just shows like the difference between people who use, you know, energy drinks every day for a period of time. I'll have to look into it, but if you guys find anything, Nurse Joel knows. Honestly, I don't fucking know. If someone asked me, like, should I drink energy drinks, I would tell them no, but I'm honestly just, I don't really know. Time to go the breatharianism route. What's that mean? Death by caffeine, though, is rare. One study earlier this year identified 51 caffeine-related deaths in total, or in a year. I mean, I'm just wondering, like, long-term, what kind of effects it could have. Yeah, though, the constant narrowing can give you aneurysms or whatever. Well, that's the question, though. Is it just simulating the narrowing of the blood vessels? Or perhaps, the one thing I would understand, or I would probably agree with, is that the constant use of caffeine would probably have an effect on your adrenal glands, because your adrenal glands are the ones that release the cortisol, which is like the stress hormone. So, like, you can probably really burn out your adrenal glands from excess caffeine usage, which then the question would be, what's the long-term effects of a burned out adrenal gland? I don't know. Carlos, what's going on? You left the bear some ice cream. Blackberry is his favorite. There's an episode on the YouTube channel called Brew that talks about long-term use of energy drinks. Nice. What does it tell you, young Padawan? How many stories left? We got 3. Wait, no. This is story 4 of, I think 7, right? Let me check. No, 6. So 3 left, I guess, in total. The anal glands, yeah. Whenever you do a Monster energy drink enema. Long-term effects of caffeine toxicity may include chronic insomnia, constant anxiety, depression, stomach problems. It can also cause high blood pressure and make high blood pressure worse. I can definitely see the anxiety, and then obviously the correlation between that and depression. And then, well, the stomach problems, I'm not too sure. I mean, exactly what specifically is doing that, I guess I would have to know specifics. Sorry, I don't mean to harp on this stuff for too long, and I totally agree with you guys, like, it's not good, but I'm honestly just curious. Drinking caffeine helps prevent Parkinson's disease? Really? Oh, I'm gonna be chugging that shit. No, I don't know. Almost 250 likes, yes. Click the like button. It certainly does help. Okay, so a few years back, me and my girlfriend decided to get out of the city for a few days by renting an Airbnb. We spent a while looking at a bunch of different places, then finally settled in this place on a farm about 2 hours' drive outside of the city. It was this little guest house on a farm, just across from the main house where the owners must have lived. We talked to a little... We talked to a little a little via email after actually paying for the place. Just little things like if we wanted some wine or some coffee left for our arrival. They were really friendly like that. Then just a few days before we were due to drive out there, they suddenly stopped replying to our emails. It was a little worrying, but not hugely so. I mean, we paid our fees and stuff, so we were definitely entitled to rent the little guest house for the week that we paid for. Besides, we figured that they were just busy or something and would get back to us as soon as they could. They told us in one email that the keys to the place would be in a lockbox that was attached to the place's porch, and that they'd emailed us They told us in one email that the keys to the place would be in a lockbox that would be attached to the place's porch, and that they'd email us to the code on... Okay, just an extra word. They were relatively sure that 400 milligrams of caffeine a day is perfectly fine, so I'll try and stick to that. They? Who are they? Given the glucocorticoids play a role in a pubertal organ growth and development, chronic high doses of caffeine during puberty might impair maturation of the adrenal gland. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thankfully didn't really consume caffeine when I was a wee lad. Joel, how you doing? I'm doing night shift law enforcement patrol and very tired and have to stay awake until I get home at 7 a.m. This is going to be a long night. Well, Jacob, I hope you can catch the criminals. Bring them down with swift justice. They told us in one email that the keys to the place would be in a lockbox that was attached to the place's porch, and that they'd email us the code on either the day before we arrived or the day of our arrival for security reasons. But then, like I said, they seemed to just go totally dark just a few days before, and they ended up not emailing us any kind of code. We were kind of annoyed, as anyone might be, and as we'd already paid our money and all that. I know we probably should have just canceled the trip and got a refund from AIRBNB, but we really liked the idea of staying out on this farm place, as it would make the perfect little break from our busy urban lives. So, we decided to just roll the dice, drive out there, and get the code to the lockbox by calling at... It said 5,000 milligrams of caffeine can be lethal. Okay, I'll try to keep it under 5,000. Are you going to do any Instagram stories? I think I have some scary Instagram stories on the channel if you search in there. So we decided to just roll the dice, drive out there, and get the code to the lockbox by knocking at the actual farmhouse instead of relying on email and stuff. The place was relatively easy to find, and both the farmhouse and the little guest house looked awesome. There was just one problem. The door to the main house was wide open, and there was a trail of clothes and household items leading up to a spot that looked like a truck or car had once sat. As you can guess, we could instantly tell that something wasn't right, as it looked like whoever had lived there had left in a hurry for some reason. Just to be sure, we walked up to the door, knocked on it, even thought it was open, and called out, "Hello?" and stuff like that. We didn't get any reply, so there was definitely no one home, and we didn't actually have any of their numbers, so there was no getting in touch with them to find out where they'd gone or when they'd be back. Not that we actually thought that they were coming back anytime soon. The trail of stuff gave us a pretty good idea that no one would want to be returning at all. The only real questions we were faced with was, why the hell did the family leave in such a hurry? And what exactly scared them so bad that they'd want to leave so fast? We didn't exactly stick around for very long. The bad vibes. We didn't exactly stick around for very long. The bad vibes were seriously heavy in the air, and my girlfriend was begging me to get us out of there from almost the moment we got out of the car. But in the time we were there, we didn't see any blood or anything like that. No bullet holes either. Nothing to indicate what had happened to make people want to run away. We made sure to call the cops on the way back into the city just to let them know that something had happened if they didn't know already. Getting our money back from AIRBNB was actually much easier than we figured, too. I guess they couldn't get in touch with the family either, and since it was still the day that we were due to check in, the money was still in digital limbo or whatever system they used to get us the money pretty quickly. I always wondered about what happened to the family, though. We didn't end up getting any real answers about it, other than the fact that we got our money back pretty quickly, which I'm guessing meant that they didn't contest the refund with AIRBNB. We've rented Airbnb since then too, with none of that same creepiness being repeated. So while I definitely recommend using the company, I suppose you just don't know what you're walking into until you're actually there. This is story number 4 of 6. Carnitas all day. You had homemade taco salad tonight? Yeah, sounds pretty damn good. Taco salad was the shit. Salsa verde. But they chose to walk into that. Yeah, I don't really know. Maybe they were just hoping for the best and went with it. Doesn't really seem very wise to especially go out there whenever you didn't even have the code. I remember one time, these people came in town from Canada, and they knocked on our door, and they were really nice, but to ask us if the neighbor, or like where the neighbor was, because they couldn't get a hold of them, but they'd rented the house next to us out for like the weekend. I don't know. I just, in my mind, I'm like, man, that neighbor must have just been running a scam or some shit. But I feel like there's no way that you could get away with that, because basically they were locked out, you know. But I feel like, you know, if they paid the money, it would go back to the people that paid to stay there and not go to the neighbor, you know. Unless it was through something else, like he scammed them through like Craigslist or some shit, which is really messed up, I feel like. When Canadians come a knocking. Oh, hater, yeah. Oh no, you know, we're sorry to bother you, but the fucking, they wouldn't say fuck. Too nice to say fuck. The freaking, you know, guy that we rented from, do you know his number by chance? We want to kill him. And that's how you ended up walking into a scene with 6 BDSM dudes doing lines in the hot tub like I did. They were all... Yeah, interesting. Sounds like a fun night, Mega. Just a normal night for you, though. We were just oot at the neighbor's house, eh? A few back, me and my husband got an Airbnb in the city we live in as a little staycation. We have this small apartment, and we rented this big fancy one for a weekend while my husband's parents looked after our son, who was 3 years old at the time. We arrive at the place We arrive at the place, as it's just as nice as all the pictures, but the only problem was that the TV room... Motherfucker. I'm ready to die. Just kidding. I'm gonna keep reading. We arrive at the place, as it's just as nice as all the pictures, but the only problem was that the TV room had this really overpowering smell to it. It even like it was... What? Like, it's so weird to me, like, just... It even like it was a bad... Oh, it wasn't even. Okay. You were at that party, Thai factory. No dying allowed in the chat. This Joel guy is really glitchy today. Someone unplug me. Someone plug him up. Make him airtight. And he can't get away. I could use a software update. It wasn't even like it was a bad smell either. It smelled really strongly of cleaning products, which, like I said, wasn't the worst thing a place could smell of, but it was verging on overpowering. We didn't spend long in there on the first day, mainly because we were out for dinner and a movie before taking a bath together and going to bed. But then the next day, while hanging out in the lavish TV area, we really started to get irritated by the smell. We tried opening some windows, and that kind of helped, but it was almost winter time, so even with the heat cranked... Grammar is hard. Well, it's just like there will always be like one fucking word missing from it, or like just weirdly added in there extra, and it just like fucks my brain up for some reason. It's whatever. I need a firmware update. Sam, did you play that cat game? Because that cat game is boring, bro. We tried opening some windows, and that kind of helped, but it was almost wintertime, so even with the heating cranked up, it ended up being uncomfortably cold in the one place we really wanted to hang out. We ended up basically sniff testing everything to find out exactly where the smell was coming from, and in the end, we both decided that it was coming from the carpet. Then, almost immediately, my husband tugs on the carpet to see there were any... to see if... Yeah, I'm filled with malware at this point. Malicious Tupperware. Then, almost immediately, my husband tugs on the carpet to see if there were any stains underneath, anything that might indicate why someone had really gone ham with the cleaning products on it. But it won't budge. Turns out it had those double-sided sticky things on it to hold it down, so it took a little elbow grease, but we eventually pulled the thing up and off the ground. Almost right away, we see what's underneath. The both of us are like, oh my god, because there's still Because there's still a huge dark brown stain on the wooden paneling. We both knew what it was right away, and we both demanded answers from both the owner and AIRBNB. AIRBNB were the most receptive, but they didn't know a thing about it. The owner, on the other hand, hung up and pretty much went AWOL on us as soon as they realized what the call was about. We had to Google the address along with keywords like murder, and almost instantly, we start getting hits about how a guy killed his girlfriend in the exact same apartment, maybe only a few months previously. The owner must have bought the place up, hired someone to do a half-butt. Malicious pilk. Pepsi milk. I wonder if Pepsi milk would have bubbles in it. I guess it would, yeah. Has anyone ever drank pilk? The owner must have bought the place up, hired someone to do a half-hearted cleaning job, then just put the place right up on Airbnb for someone to rent, and that someone ended up being us. We just went right back home, canceling our little staycation, but not before getting a bunch of different pictures of the stain on the floor, as well as forwarding Airbnb customer services the articles about the murder. They managed to refund our money, and they promised us that the owner would have their properties delisted because apparently you're supposed to tell the company about stuff like that before you put an advertisement for a place up. But then the next time we went looking for a staycation place, we saw the exact same listing up there, like Airbnb had just totally ignored us. We got in touch again to a lodge. Oh my god. The game was gorgeous. Didn't expect a story revolving around a cat, but it exceeded my expectations for sure. Yeah, I'm not much into... I like graphics, but I feel like graphics to me are like an afterthought whenever, I feel like there's not much to do in the game. But I'm curious if it, gets better. What is pilk? It's just Pepsi mixed with milk, you know. And what is dilk? I assume it's some type of dad milk. Has anyone tried any dad milk lately? We got in touch again to leave an actual complaint against the company, but that time, Airbnb said the stain had been completely cleaned and that they were personally satisfied that the quality met with their terms of service. I mean, I guess people have died in tons of apartments all over the city, and then it's just easier to tell which ones than... Damn, I literally cannot make it fucking one fucking paragraph without some weird fucking thing. I mean, I guess people have died in tons of apartments all over the city, and that it's just easier to tell which ones than others. What does that even mean? And that it's just easier to tell which ones... I don't even know. Bro, I don't even know. I mean, I guess people have died in tons of apartments all over the city, and it's just easier to tell which ones than others. But the fact that we knew something terrible had happened there didn't sit right with us at all. I'm not talking about spirits lingering or anything supernatural like that. It's just really disconcerting to know that something creepy happened in a place where people were trying to relax and have fun. What's my favorite cereal? Oh, damn. There's so many good ones. I haven't had cereal in a while. I miss cereal, though. Cereal was fucking fun to eat. Wait. Roach? JJ? Shakedown? This one was about that. The Farmhouse? Stain? Man. Well, I guess it has been 2.5 hours, huh? I'm just fucking blasting through this shit. No, it's all good. I just like to bitch. It's like when I play video games, I'm like pretty much 100% of the time blame my team or blame the game. I'm never gonna blame myself for anything ever. It's just not, it's not good business practice. Reese's Cup cereal, oh yeah, shit's good as fuck. Fucking remember Cookie Crisp? They still have that. Tricks. Fucking Lucky Charms. The Flintstone shit, Pebbles, Lucky Pebbles. What the fuck's it called? Pebbles R Us. Is it just called Pebbles? Fruity Pebbles. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh man, yeah. There's pretty much any way you can take high fructose corn syrup and put it into a dried shape. And pour cow excrement, not excrement, but like titty milk onto it. I'll fucking drink that or eat it. I'll eat it. Oh, Apple Jacks. Yo, when I was younger, one of the worst feelings ever was going to the store to get cereal and milk, specifically so I could eat it. I was like 6 years old, and I thought to myself, Mummy, I said, Mummy, may I get chocolate milk? May I get chocolate milk with my Apple Jacks? I think it would be quite the combination. And she's like, of course. Literally anything for you. Forever. Especially sugar. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Mom, thanks. And then I got it. Dumped that shit in there. And I don't know why, but like, chocolate milk with Apple Jacks was complete ass to me. There was something about chocolate milk with like cereal that is just gross, and it did not mix well in my mouth when I was a wee lad. Why are Fruit Loops better without milk anyway? Wait, Fruit Loops? Oh, Fruit Loops. Wait, what are Fruit Loops again? Oh yeah, Fruit Loops. Yeah, with the fucking toucan. I'm an idiot, dude. Are they better without milk? Oh, that's a good point. They are kind of better without milk. You ever experienced the cereal straws? Oh man, I definitely have had edible straws before. Oh my god, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Another banger. Another fucking top-notch sugar bowl. Honestly, the spoon should have been made out of sugar. We could just eat everything. Chocolate milk is terrible with cereal. Yeah, I learned that as a youngling very quickly. Life cereal with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, I loved all the cereals, man. Fucking, even like one of the more simplistic ones that they pretended like it was like heart healthy. Fucking, what was it? Cinnamon? No. It was like, oh yeah, honey circles. What the fuck? I feel like I'm naming all like the off-brand versions of cereals. What's the one? Honey. It's got the bee on it. Those are pretty fucking good. But it is funny that they sell it as if though it's like, it's good for you, Grandpa. This is what's going to save your life. Because there was literally like an episode or like a commercial I remember seeing where like Grandpa's like, you know, snorting cocaine or something, but then the little girl, yeah, Honey Nut Cheerios, and then the little girl was just like, no, Grandpa, I told Mommy to get you this cereal because this is one's gonna make you live for another 5 minutes. And he's like, wow. Thanks, sweetheart. Because he's on cocaine. But like, I mean, it's fucking sugar in a bowl. There's no way that that's gonna make your grandpa live any longer, other than the fact that maybe he hasn't had any nutrients in his body for a while because he's dementia and he's forgotten to eat or something. I don't know. You had to eat Raisin Bran when I was a kid and regular Cheerios. Regular Cheerios? Did you at least pour a whole fucking bottle of sugar onto it to make it better? In Japan, they block out the health claims of Honey Nut Cheerios. Good. Good. Very impressive, Japan. Very impressive. Then Grandpa drank a Bang energy drink. Can someone please describe the taste of pizza? People say it's the best. I've never had it before. You never had pizza? I can only assume that you're lying to me right now. Does anyone else in the world besides Joel say as if though? Do I say as if though, or did the people that wrote the stories say as if though and you're complaining about the story or something? Or do I actually say as if though? Rice Krispie Treats, Special K. Oh, damn. Father, push up, remember. Yes, after the story we'll do some pushy uppies. Yes, a bottle of sugar. The whole sugar cane. What you do with regular Cheerios is dunk a bunch of Nesquik on top of them. Wait. Oh, that would be interesting. Damn. I miss being a little kid where it was just like all your diet was just endless sugar all fucking day, every day. Kind of wish literally anybody in my life would have monitored my diet as a kid. Just ever so slightly. You say as if though all the time. Well, I'm fucking Shakespeare, so get used to it. We're rewriting the whole fucking dictionary at this point. Milo powder and rice. That sounds yummy, Fry. Oh yeah, Frosted Flakes with slices of banana. Banana, as if though it was a banana. Thanks, Kate. Love you too. Champorado. Milo powder and rice supra? What the fuck is Milo powder? That sounds dangerous. Cocaine and crunched rice. Milo powder. Oh, is it like a more Ovaltine, please? I love how like on all these like sugar products they just like advertise sports players as if though every athlete is just drinking straight fucking diabetes concoction. Thou art glitching whilst reading. Cocoa Puffs, damn. Y'all really bringing up memories here. I remember, yeah, it'd be like a Saturday morning and I just watching shows and just bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl of cereal. And not a single person was like, yo, I think you need to cool it with this shit. I'm gonna have to get the insulin pen out soon. A few years ago now, me and a friend of mine got AIRBNB in Berlin for the weekend, a converted attic with 2 beds and some basic accommodations. The first night at around 4 a.m., I heard footsteps walking up the final stair. Motherfucker. Oh yeah, corn pops. Damn. Yeah, cereal commercials, man, those are the best. I used to like religiously follow like Toucan Sam and his like nephews as they went on wild adventures together, even though the adventures were like 15 fucking seconds. But I used to like just go bananas for finding out where they were heading next. It filled my little boy brain with crazy ideas. The official cereal of NASCAR. Hell yeah. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. The first night at around 4 a.m., I heard footsteps walking up the final staircase which led directly to the door of the attic. The next thing I know, I see the door slowly peeling open, as if someone was trying to sneak in, and I get this gut punch feeling of terror, realizing we'd forgotten to lock it. I just lay there with my eyes glued to the doorway as it continued to open, until I called out thinking it was a friend trying to mess with me. No response, but then the door stopped inching open for a second. I called out again and again, and got no response. But then the door swung wide open, slamming against the wall, and I saw a shadow outline of a person, distorted by the darkness and illuminated from the window behind it. I went full fight-or-flight mode and sprang up and out of bed, grabbing a nearby lamp to use as a weapon. I swung it while moving around the figure, then, after what felt like a few minutes but was probably only a few seconds, I found myself with a clear path to the doorway and the subsequent staircase. I then threw the lamp at the intruder, and I flew down all 3 flights of steps with so much energy I was lucky not to fall. You love Kicks? Oh yeah, Kicks. Oh my fucking god, I forgot about Kicks. It's so weird how like some of the cereals were like so similar, but they just had like such a different flavor to all of them. It's like different textures. Dude, Kicks were so fucking good. God damn. Yeah, Honey Smacks. Probably the serial killer in some of these. Yeah, probably. Most of these stories are just me going out and making content. What's up, Jordan? What's going on? I then threw the lamp at the intruder, and I flew down all 3 flights of stairs with so much energy I was lucky not to fall and hurt myself. I shook awake my friend, told her that we were leaving right now, calling the cops and that she should join me. A few minutes later, my other friends arrived and told us that the place was all clear, but we were idiots for leaving the door open and trashing the place. We did leave the door open, but we didn't trash the place. That must have been the intruder. Never stayed in another dodgy place like that ever again, and I wouldn't if you paid me. Okay, cool. Captain Crunch, yeah, you can't go wrong with Captain Crunch. Honestly, I would say Captain Crunch is probably like the general of all cereal characters. He's definitely like, if there was a Justice League for fucking cereal mascots, he would definitely be like Captain America or some shit. ASMR me eating cereal. Okay. You have to buy me some and send it. You have to send a bowl full of Kix cereal and milk and keep it perfectly preserved in a glassed container with no, it's just like a straight vacuum, and make it through the postal service. Reese's Puffs, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go, bro. The Captain Crunch syrup. Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, they just like simulate every flavor now. Anything sugar, you can get it in any form. Syrup, baby powder, whatever. We'll get it for you. Thanks for being such a big inspiration to smaller narrators like myself. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Appreciate ya. Yeah, the roof of your mouth cuts my... Yeah, it's true. You get all sorts of cut up by, It's just fucking... What's his name? Captain. The captain himself has just got a box cutter and he's in your mouth, like on your tongue, floating around, just like slicing at the roof of your mouth. Or he's got like a swashbuckling sword. Joel, the future Nikocado of eating breakfast. I wish I was as much of a YouTube supervillain as he was. Alright, somebody think of a way to end the video, something funny here. I'm gonna read the outro and then we'll do pushy uppies. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, always check your ear for roaches. That would be a good one. Gotta have my pops. I gotta have my pops. Pushy uppies over the microphone? Oh yeah, guarantee it here. And remember, cereal can be a serial killer, too. Honeycomb, save the roof of your mouth, let the cereal sit in that milk. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, always check your ears for roaches. Boom. Rice's Puffs. Oh, what the fuck? My voice is therapeutic. Thank you. I do be trying. If your ear is wiggly, it's a roach. Be sure to smoke it. Oh, okay. Making room. Hey, Miss Molly with the 10 says, Joe, my love, hope you're having a good night. I know it's just the end and I'm arriving, but that's okay. Love you. Thank you, Miss Molly. Good to see you. Appreciate ya. And yeah, I know, that just, it flies by so quick. I guess it just depends on how long the stories are sometimes. Like a video that's 40 minutes long versus 55 minutes long definitely makes a big difference as far as recording time goes and all that kind of stuff. Hey, listen. Alright. Smoke the roach. Show it's who's boss. Exactly. That'd be really funny. Screaming. What's that one video where, he's like, hey, little guy. How you doing? And he just, whips out, a fucking blowtorch and just, incinerates this roach. Alright. So I think we're still trying for 52 pushy uppies. You tell story? I do, yeah, but I already told all of them. So now we're just doing push-ups to see if I can get them, because why the fuck not? There's nothing else better to do with our time. Alright. 52 motherfucking push-ups. And if you're gonna join me in these exercises, whether it's... What are some other things you can do? You could do squats, you could do sit-ups, you could do planks for seconds or whatever the fuck. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Just do it. Who's that? Rachel with the 2 says, amazing job as always, thank you, and nighty night, Rachel, thank you for the 2. Always good to see you. Roach is the worst in your life. For sure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Damn, I'm struggling tonight. 40, 41. Oh, fuck me, man. I kind of did them a little bit different tonight, where I was like, sort of rotating on a sort of like an, rotating on like an arc almost. Kind of the way that you might see like someone do bench press, where they bring it to their chest and they sort of push it at a bit of a 45-degree angle, like arch, or not arch, what do you call it, like a curve. So I was kind of doing that, but I think I just thought about it too much and allowed my body to get, who gives a fuck. Anyways, I think I got like 10 fucking more to go. Fuck. Alright. Whatevs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jesus Christ. What? Using your muscles is fucking stupid. They should just give us those dumb Wall-E chairs, and we can just float around and eat ice cream and cereal and shit. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways. A storyteller is listening also. Are you a storyteller, Bob? Tell us a story, my friend. Oh, man. I don't know why. Yeah, watch out for JJ. Oh, fuck me. Well, my friends, that kind of blew by a lot faster than I thought, but I appreciate you guys being here. What time is it? I guess it is 1 a.m. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting used to streams and they just cruise. But at least I don't have to read, with the heavy breathing now, because I feel like it like fucks me up and slows me down. Man. It is weird, even though exercising does suck. Even the smallest amounts, there's something about it that like rejuvenates you more than like any sort of fucking caffeine ever could, you know what I mean? Just gets you going, man. Alright, friendos. I appreciate you. Love you. Hope you have a good night and day tomorrow or wherever you are in the world. Got a record? Yeah, my record was 51 in a row. I think I actually did that. So what I'm trying to do is, do one more in a row after that. But for some reason, today was just kind of rough. Like normally I probably would have made it into the 40s or like the higher 40s. Someone's gonna have to keep data on this. Anyways, goodbye, my friends. Follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy. Just to be notified whenever I go live and new videos, because sometimes, you don't get notified on YouTube because of reasons. I don't fucking know. But I will get this stuff edited and up on Patreon first thing, AIRBNB stories, and then they'll be out tonight. Oh, what fucking day is it? Oh, it's Wednesday. Wait, no, it's Thursday. Wait, what fucking day is it? Oh, it's Thursday. Okay, thank God. I'm always afraid I'm going to forget the fucking day, and I'm just like, well, there's dementia. It's got me at 32. Whatever. All right. Goodbye. Have a beautiful time.